Dr. Singhvi, let me come to you first. How would you respond to your critics who say that the narrow political gains that the Congress may be gaining through the creation of Telangana has opened up a Pandora's box? It's a tinder box. There is violence which is happening already in Assam. There is violence which has already happened in Darjeeling. How does the Congress answer to those who say that creating Telangana was bound to result in these problems?
Thank you, Vishnu, especially since you know that I have to beg leave in less than 7-8 minutes because of a prior commitment to another channel. Vishnu, there are 2-3 facets. First of all, whenever an issue like the creation of a new state, wherever and whenever it is discussed in the immediate aftermath of that decision in principle, it is bound to have a very surcharged atmosphere. It is nothing new, it is expected, and you are now discussing in the immediate aftermath. You have to allow things to settle down. All stakeholders will soon realize, work their way out, and there will be some equilibrium. So I think this is a wrong notion to suggest that what is happening around the country is a true, is something which is going to be there for staying. Secondly, I think it is something which cuts across all parties, it's something which cuts across all regions. You take anybody, irrespective of party affiliation, if he believes in that, that issue in an emotive sense, he's bound to be, that party is bound to be divided down the line. This will happen to the BJP as much as to the TRS, as much as to other people who have a prominence of any kind in Andhra. And I don't think it's at all correct to suggest even remotely any equivalence between the Telangana and any other state. It's not as if states have been created in India for the first time. The factum of creation of, or the announcement in principle of the creation of one state does not automatically give resonance or credibility or recognition to any other state.
It is giving resonance. So how can you deny that it's giving resonance? If it's not giving resonance,
yes, you're right. It gives resonance.
It
gives resonance. Let me correct myself. It gives resonance, but it is absolutely not automatic in terms of, because each is a unique thing in terms of geographical contiguity, legacy, history. And yes, the demands have been there for a long time. Gorkhaland has been there, Vidarbha has been there. It may or may not be decided on its own merits. But the fact that you created a Chhattisgarh 10 years ago or a Jharkhand did not automatically lead to Telangana. Telangana has had an independent right going on for a long time.
Right. So
let me things have to be allowed to settle down.
All right. Let me just bring in Chandan Mitra over here. Is that response satisfactory? He says that ultimately there will be an equilibrium which will find its way, that the violence that we are seeing today will play itself out.
Well, this is typical of the Congress party's approach to all complex issues, that you take a decision out of political expediency, you delay it as far as possible, and on the eve of an election, you do this to somehow kind of salvage your sinking ship all over the country and particularly Andhra Pradesh. Now, I would like to take your viewers back to the time when the NDA government created not one but 3 states, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Did you see this kind of eruption? You did not. The state assemblies in all these 3 passed resolutions welcoming the creation of these 3 states out of their undivided state. You see, there is a way, there is a diplomatic and I think, you see, basically honest and truthful way of approaching an issue. Jharkhand, Telangana, you allowed it to boil for so long, absolutely determined that you are going to do it just before the election.
Dr. Singhvi, I am coming to you next.
The next election, just on the eve of the next election, you will see one more state, if the Congress is in power then. And this is the kind of dishonesty of the Congress approach which causes these eruptions, and I am afraid that the Congress will have blood on its hands as a result of
the Congress will have blood on its hands
moves.
Because of these moves. Dr. Singhvi, go ahead.
I don't know whether we have are going to have blood on our hands, but I certainly know that for a party which uses such strong language, it should at least pause and hearken back to its own completely duplicitous, dishonest conduct proved. As far as those adjectives are concerned about us, it is only adjectives used by Mr. Chandan Mitra. But as far as the BJP is concerned, it stands proved. Please rewind, and I didn't want to say it, but since he has used such strong language, I think he should be hoisted on his own petard. rewind back to 2002, the letter in public domain published everywhere available, as the Honorable Home Minister of that time, Mr. Advani, officially has written on his letterhead that the NDA government rejects the stand and the demand for a state of Telangana. Now that is point one. That has led thereafter to a complete volte-face on convenience after a zigzag course, purely for what Mr. Chandramitra was using, expediency and political convenience. We have been consistent in our stand. We have been consistent in that we have said that this is something which will take time and be discussed by stakeholders.